your words. So body language, we have to work on our body language. It's a component of communication. And then lastly, like I was saying, if I put in a scale, words will be 3, tone will be maybe 5, body language will be 8. But something that will be 10 is timing. Timing is so important. Timing tops the list. Timing is the 4th component of communication. Timing. And this is the thing that can spoil communication a lot. Women most of the times do not understand timing. Men do not understand timing. If you don't know when to say what to say, it makes what you are saying wrong. Are you understand what I'm saying? You have to know when to say what to say. I mean, you are free to say anything to your husband. You are free to say anything to your wife. You are free to touch your wife or touch her. But if you don't know when to say what to say. And you see, communication is so much more. That's why I'm starting with it before I can even get into sex. Because when you don't even know how to communicate sex, that you want sex from your spouse, if the timing is wrong, sometimes it makes everything wrong. Are you know what I'm saying? Timing is so much important. Imagine a man comes from work. He has a very bad boss that treats him bad. He comes home and maybe you have some problem. Jumbo give you had the other person give you had the bills and say, but you don't wait for the man to rest. You put everything on him. The time is wrong. He will talk back at you. The time is wrong. The first thing I should know, oh, sweetheart, how was work today? Then he'll start to explain. We have food here. He starts to eat. Then afterwards, he cools down. Before he starts to bring it one by one. When you see the timing, he will address everything one by one. But you don't just load everything on him. Because you feel you can talk more. So you just load everything on him. You see, timing is so much important. Timing is so much important. And men also do not understand the issue about timing. They time they want their wife to be who they want their wife to be to them in bed. And other person, they want it now. They don't understand timing. So communication, if you don't understand timing, what you want to do, which is legitimate and right, may be very wrong. Even God is a God of timing. He says in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3, he says he makes all things beautiful when in its time. Everything gets beautiful when it is the right time. Everything gets beautiful when it is the right time. That's why fruits have seasons. Everything is beautiful when it is the right time. When you miss the timing, then it's not good at all. Hallelujah. So the four components of communication are what? The 4, not the 4th. The 4 words. Number 2, 3, 4. So please practice these things. We're not here to waste our time to just talk about them. And you practice these things. You can even use it in your relationship with your children. You can use it in your relationship with friends. Timing is so much important. Timing. There are some things you want to say to some people. If the time is not right, you may not get the right answer. You have to watch the timing. If you can watch the timing, you can get anything from anyone. You have to watch the timing. That's why even with God, when you're asking God for anything, if it's not God's time for that particular thing, most of the times you will not get it. That's why to know the timing of God, to know the time of God. So much important to know the time of God. Hallelujah. So that's for communication in marriage, the components in marriage. Now, something I want to talk about also, I want to talk about something about communication that is so much important that we need to know is we must be able to practice one major thing about communication is honesty. Is what? It's honesty. Not to live a lie or speak the lie. Honesty is so much important. If we want to have a good marriage, a good communication with our spouse, then we should live honesty. We should be truthful. We should be truthful, because even if you are giving good words, or you are giving good body language, good tool, and good timing, if you are not honest and your spouse knows that you're not an honest person, your communication will not work. Because the person already know that you can lie. If you say good morning, they have to look at the time. So honesty is so much important. So even though you may know all these components, but if you are not honest, your spouse will not listen to you, because your spouse cannot trust you again. Your spouse cannot trust you again. So when we talk about honesty, let's look at the different types of honesty. Let's look at the different types of honesty. The first type of honesty that I want to get to, the first is Matthew chapter 5 verse 31 says, "Let your communication be yea and or nay, for whatsoever is more than these comes from the evil one." Let your communication be yes or no. That means you must be honest. Colossians 3 verse 9 says, "Lie not to one another." Don't lie to each other. Hallelujah. Now, there is so much what there is. 2 Corinthians 8 verse 21 says that we should be honest in the things that we do. That we do. We should be honest in the things that we do. So we want to be honest in our communication with each other as husbands and wives. Hallelujah. So the first type of communication that you need to learn is historical. First type of honesty is historical honesty. Is historical honesty. Historical honesty. That is honesty that has to do with history. Now, you may not think that this is important, but it is so much important. Your spouse or your relation, it is very much important that he or she knows everything about you that you did in the past. Historical honesty. So you say, "But then I did my past. Why you want to know my past?" It's so much important because if he or she gets to know from another person and it is offensive to he or she, then it becomes a problem. Then he or she will not trust you again. Amen. So even though you may use the right components like words, you may use tunes correctly, you may use timing, you may use body language, but if the person does not trust you because you did not tell them the full story of your past, you're not honest about your past, you lied about your past, then they can't trust you. Then they can't trust you. We have a serious issue in our church now with this girl who she likes to look that. I mean, I know that she has changed because she had a mistake in her life. She has 4 children. The 4 children are from different guys because she had this other problem when she had the first child. I think her parents put her out so to support the child. She had to go to another guy who adopted the child. She born for the guy. They put her out and she went to so it's the 4 children. But she lied to most of those children. The first child she didn't tell the first child or her real dad. She told the child that this dad is a real dad. The child grew up with that. And after we start making investigation, we want to know how to start finding their real dads. And her first daughter, and she will treat every child by the way your father is. If your father was poor and wicked to her, that's how she will be to you. So her first daughter, the father did so bad, so she's supposed to get on the road. The girl will sell this, just take care of the girl at all. And that's her only girl child. So I'm like, why will you treat your child like this? A girl, and that's her only girl child. And she said, but the father will take it all. And she never even showed that girl her father. Even the girl last, and she put another man's last for the girl. So after we did to cut long story short, after we did everything, we managed to link the girl to her real parents. Now I know the girl parents are even still see it. Now the mother not even want to be benefiting from the girl real parents now. So they call it, I need this. My wife can say, but you knew about this thing? You even lied to the girl. You see, so historical honesty is so much important. Are you understand what I'm saying? Historical honesty is so much important. Don't lie to your children. If you made a mistake in the past, tell your children, hey, say, I'm telling you it so you'll not do this. Tell your children, I made a mistake, I did this. Tell your children the truth. Tell your children, look, let me tell you, the truth is, the reason why, most of the time, the reason why we don't like to talk about sex and marriage and other things, because we don't like to be honest to our children. Tell your children, look, let me tell you, the truth is, it's better to stay with assets until you marry. But I made that pattern mistake. You don't make that pattern mistake. I did this, blah, blah. You don't have to go into all the details, but I made the mistake. Be honest. Are you know what I'm saying? Be honest. And especially with your spouse, be honest with your spouse. Be very much. If you carry a sickness that is sexually transmitted, tell your spouse. Oh, I have this. So I was diagnosed that I have this sickness, I have STDs, I have HIV, I have this. Do you still want to get married to me? This and that. Be honest, don't lie. Because the thing is, most churches will not do blood tests. If you are sterile, if you are a man, you are sterile, or impotent, you are a man, okay. Impotency, you can detect it, but sterility, you can detect it. Because sterility, the person will still have sex, but the person lacks the ability to have children, the components of his sperm counts. But if you are detected before that you are sterile because of food or other things that you are taking or drugs or anything, then tell your spouse that thing. Don't get in a marriage and then before you start to discover it, the person will not trust you again. I know what I'm saying. If something is wrong with your womb, or because some abortion idea, blah blah, be bold and tell the person. Historical honesty is so much. These are the things that can cause the problem when people finally get in the home. And most churches, the church I came from, Winners, I've been a marriage counselor there, head of the marriage committee for 8 years. We do all those things, but most churches don't do those things. In our church, I'm a marriage counselor. I have 2 pastors that work with me. I had a medical doctor that was with me, a nurse that was with me. So before people get married, we do their blood tests, we do everything. We do everything. And we have our hospital and the doctors that will send you to. And the results not going to you, results coming to us. You must agree. We do. You will pay the money, not the church. You will pay the money, but the result come to us. Then we take the result, then we call your spouse. And this is what we discover. The woman is like this, the man is like this. Do you still want to get married? If you say yes, yes, they say, pastor, will pray for them. Then we'll come to use the prayer. You see, faith is not denying the fact. Faith is not denying the fact. If for instance, they discovered that maybe the girl is HIV positive. The man said, "I still want to get married, but pastor, we believe in prayer. Go okay, you and say yes. Then we'll pray for. Then he's going with that consent. He's going with that agreement. Are you understand what I'm saying? But you must be open. You must be honest about your history. You must be honest about history. Don't hide your past. If God, people that hide their past are people that have not really been delivered correctly. Because it should be a testimony. I like there's a girl I listened to. She was a lesbian, a very well-known lesbian. But she married. This girl, her past have made her be very rich. She has written books, delivering other girls from lesbianism. She married her husband. And she told everything about her lesbian past. In fact, she preaches to churches all around. She's not a pastor, but her testimony, because her past is blessing people. That's what I'm saying. So it must be honest. The first type of honesty that you need to have is historical honesty. I understand what I'm saying? Now, then the second type of honesty is current honesty. Current. You must be current. You must be, your honesty must be current. Sometimes people are true about their past, but what's happening now, they can't tell you. For instance, your husband calls you. Where are you? You are in maybe Philadelphia, and your husbands are in New Jersey. That's wrong. People do it a lot. In Liberia, people will be on the old road. They say, "Oh, they are on the old road. They say on Broad Street." Current honesty is so much important. Current honesty, what's in your bank account, blah blah blah. Current honesty is so much important. Your spouse wants to know what's happening now. What's happening now? What's happening now? If your spouse cannot trust you now, he or she will not trust you again. He or she will not trust. And most of us that are here in the US and have our relationship in other countries, in Liberia, this is the place where we really have to settle, because husband and wife relationship is basically about communication. And if your spouse is so far away from you and you are honest with the person, the love relationship can look as if the person is just with you. The love relationship, and for me, I forced to be like that because my wife likes honesty. I went to go to a ladies shop. That's my mom prayer partner. When I came to 2018, they had this women conference. It's an inter-denominational, people from different churches, Catholic, Methodist, Pentecostal, women. They pray, they can have the conference. So they had that conference 2018. I came, I preached, I ministered, so they knew me. And it's my that lady, she used to be in the Catholic church, but she got converted. She's now a Pentecostal woman. Older woman, even older than my mother. So my mom been saying, but when you're sick, they used to pray and fast for you, so why you not found out? So I didn't really plan to do it, so I just when I stopped there, I went to a place. I was so happy. Oh, she told me we were talking. Then I started telling her my problems. When I was sick, how God delivered me. In that period of time, my wife called me and I answered. I said, can I just call you back with one of my mom's friends? We got talking, so she heard the lady talking. Then my wife sent me a text. You didn't tell me that you're going to be. You didn't tell me that you're going to visit your mom first. Who was your mom first that you're visiting? So I didn't ignore it afterwards. I had to explain all this kind of things. You see, current honesty is so much important because it makes the next person to start to think all kinds of things. When the person start thinking, thinking ways that that's the thing. I wonder with the man friend, I want a woman, she want my husband, blah 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 blah. So current honesty. So be open. If you are going this like that place, go out. But if you change direction, signify the person that I've changed direction. It's so much important. Current honesty. We want to be honest currently. What's happening in our day to day, even though we'll not be able to say everything, but when it's major, we must be able to say what is happening. Hallelujah. And then thirdly, emotional honesty. Can I have water? Emotional honesty. Emotional honesty. Emotional honesty is a bit different from current honesty. It's a bit different from current honesty because emotional honesty has to do with what's going on in your mind and in your heart. It's not really what's happening physically, but it's what's going on. You have to be honest with your spouse about what's happening in your heart and what's happening in your mind. If you're thinking certain way about the person, having a kind of sense, but then tell the person, be open to the person. Do not hide it. Do not hide it. If this is what you sense about the person, if this is what you're thinking about the person, be honest. Say, Suga, I think that this thing that's happening to you is because of this thing. This is how I feel about it. Don't hide it. You understand what I'm saying? Don't hide it. Because if the person gets to know this is how you've been thinking about them, all the while, it will have a serious problem. I told my wife one day how I felt about her mother. That was an emotional honesty. I told my wife, there was no way she was going to know because I can smile with her mother, I can dance with her mother, we can dance together, but I felt somehow about her mother. I told her, I said, I feel your mother does not like me. That was my heart. I was hoping. You see, emotional, that was my heart. That's how I felt. She said, but why you said that? She said, but you and my mom, how are dancing together? I said, she doesn't like me. And there was so many reasons I said, she didn't know that when she's not around, her mother and myself were not friends. Yeah. When my wife is not around, her mother and myself, we can't really roll. But when she comes, then her mother pretends, then I pretend. Oh. Yeah, that's what we can do. By the time my wife comes, my wife will change. By the time my wife and them, my mother-in-law will change her attitude towards me. I must have changed my attitude towards her. Oh, then we start pretending. We start pretending. That's what we do for a very long time. Start fucking pretend. They will start. And you know, we just let them. But when she's not there, when my wife is not there, she in her room. Then when she wants to tell me, I said, what happened? And most of the time she was speaking her tribe. She was looking at that. I said, I'm picking her tribe. So I felt that. I started to my wife said, then I had to explain everything that happened. My wife said, why you didn't explain all these things? I said, I feel your mother only likes her tribal people because I'm not of her tribe. She said she's not her that she just like to speak her tribe. I said, that's what I feel though. So she had to go to her mother and say, my husband has been saying this about you. She said, oh, it's not true. I said, it's true. Don't say it's not true. You know we can do it with it. I said, you know we can do it when you're not here. You know we can do it. So, and from that time, she started calling me the same name my wife can call me, and my wife calls me a baby. So the same is because she just baby, just to show that she has nothing with me. Right. No problem with me. So we must be able to open our emotions to our spouse. Don't hide your emotions. Don't say, if I say Anna, she will take it. If I say Anna, he will see it. Say it. Know your components. You have to know the timing to say it. Right? Mm-hmm. Don't forget about the components of communication. While you are doing this, you must know the time. The time must be right. Your body language, your tone, and the right words to express your emotional honesty. Because the person is not in your heart. You can say, but now what I mean. The person will deduce what you mean from the way you are saying it, your tone, your time. The person will know what you mean. So emotional honesty must be communicated the right way. Hallelujah. Amen. Then, fourthly, your future honesty. It will be a feature we must possess. Future honesty. Future honesty. Future honesty. This means we must be able to tell our spouse our plans. Must be able to tell our spouse our plan. Know husband or no wife, especially wife, no wife will want to hear something that her husband is planning from another woman. It will break that woman's heart down. Some men can do it. Something that they are planning, they will prefer say it to their workmate, their female workmate, or to their sister, and maybe the wife will hear it from somewhere, but you didn't tell your wife. Your wife said, "But I heard that you're doing this."